Today is a day of first times and new beginnings. I'm gonna be trying something completely new here on the channel, and that is, I'm gonna be trying to shoot with a Canon camera. And I know that might not sound like much, but ever since I started this channel, I've been shooting Sony, I've been talking about Sony, I've been studying everything that has to do with Sony. So to all of a sudden try out a new camera and have to learn all of its features and menus and all that kind of stuff, it should be really interesting. And just to make it even more interesting, I have to return this package to Canon Canada after today. So I've just got one day to shoot with it and figure out what I like and what I don't. Okay, so like I mentioned before, I got this package from Canon Canada. I thought it would be really interesting to give you guys the look into someone who shoots another brand and wants to try Canon for the first time. Not exactly the first time, but it's been years since I've used a Canon camera. And the reason that I only have today with it is because they put these loaners out for a certain amount of time. And unfortunately, because I spent some time in the hospital and because I've been really busy with other projects, I have to return this right away. So I figured, what the heck, I'll take on the challenge and we'll try and get as much shooting in with the Canon as we can today. I don't even know what's in this package yet. I haven't even opened it. So that's probably a good place to start. Okay, so I'm pretty sure that there's an R6 in here, but I have no idea what lenses they sent with it. Jeez. Canon cameras feel so good in your hands. Control ring mount adapter for EF to EOS R, which means that we probably have an EF lens in here. 24-105 f4L, and it's an RF lens, so this is native. 24-105 f4L EF lens, exactly the same lens, but the EF version, and a 24-105 f4 to 7.1. So I think this is kind of like the kit lens that you can get. So I have three 24-105 lenses. I'm probably just gonna shoot with this one because I'm more interested in testing out the actual camera itself rather than the three lenses that I have that are all the same focal range. I don't think I'm deep enough down the Canon rabbit hole to do that yet. And we got a battery. A single battery, that should be interesting. Let's see if it's charged. Where's the on switch? There it is. I think this battery is dead. All right, so step one is to get this battery charging, and then why don't we have a chat about what we're gonna be trying to shoot today? Okay, so the best way that I've found to learn any new piece of gear and to get through menu systems and all that kind of stuff is to go out and shoot. So I reached out to you guys and asked for some scavenger hunt items, some things that I could go out and shoot, both video and photo. So I got a couple of items that I picked from you guys, but before we go out and shoot, I have no idea what this thing is capable of, so let's do a quick overview. I'm just gonna pull it up on Google and see what this thing is all about. Right off the bat, putting that lens on and seeing that shutter closed to protect the sensor, I like it. All right, Canon EOS R6 highlights. 20 megapixel full frame CMOS sensor. We got 4K 60, so we'll have to test that out. And then we've got full HD 120p, 10-bit internal video. That's sick. 5-axis image stabilization, awesome. 12 frames per second mechanical shutter and 20 frames per second electronic shutter. Dual pixel autofocus, 3.69 million dot EVF, 3-inch vari-angle touchscreen, classic Canon. Subject tracking with deep learning and dual SD UHS 2 memory card slots. Oh yeah, I guess I need to put memory cards in. Still have no battery though, so. Gotta wait for that. Okay, so I've had this thing on the charger for about 2 hours now, and it's giving me 3 blinks, which says that it's about 75%, but I'm running out of daytime here. So I'm gonna get the battery in here, and I'm gonna plug it in to a power bank, and just even get some settings going. Green light, that means we're charging, hopefully. What happens if I turn it on?
I'm going through the menus. I'm setting up the Canon R6. There's so many settings to choose from. I hope I don't choose wrong.
So So I just spent about 20 minutes going through all the menus. There's a lot of stuff in there that has different names from what I'm used to, but I think I've got kind of the basic stuff set up. At this point, I'm gonna run out of light very fast, so I've got a couple of things that are on my little scavenger hunt that I wanna try and do. The first one that you guys requested was vlogging. You guys wanted to see some slow shutter. Someone suggested murals, self-portrait, an interesting building, and a time lapse. So we're gonna head out and see how many of those we can knock off and see what we can learn about this camera in the meantime. And since this is a video all about trying new stuff, I think we should try something else too. What do you think? Something other than black? Still in cuts, my favorite fitting shirt of all time, link in description with the discount code. But you know, it's just, I'm exploring. Gray is like, it's like lighter black. All right, let's do this thing. We've officially moved over to the R6. Let's see how this goes. One of the things that's really impressing me is the face tracking. Now, I'm not 100% sure if it's actually tracking my face or if it's just picking an autofocus spot and showing me where that is, but it is sticking on my face even with the helmet and the mask on. That's pretty darn impressive. I know that my Sony doesn't do that. All right, I've arrived at my first destination to check off something on my scavenger hunt. There is a big mural just behind here, so we're gonna test out this 24-105 and see how it does out at the long end. So I've got a couple of murals down, I've done some vlogging, shot 4K 60 a little bit so we can see how that goes. I'm already really impressed with kind of the ease of use, pretty easy to flip between modes and all that kind of stuff. Now I just gotta find something else on my list and check it off. So I just managed to sneak in a little self-portrait there too. I used the timer, which took me a little while to find, but I did manage to hunt it down. I can't figure out how to turn off autofocus. That's one thing that on my Sony, I customize a custom button to make it so that I can have a manual focus autofocus switch right on the camera. Haven't quite sorted that one out yet. I see now that there's a switch on the lens, so I feel a little silly, but I got the self-portrait. I think it looks pretty cool. Okay, I've pretty much managed to do everything on my own up to this point, but I really want to shoot a time lapse and I have no idea where to look for it, so I'm gonna use the internet. I think I checked off pretty much everything that I wanted to on my list, and now it's getting very dark and very cold out here. It's time to head back home, take a look at some of the photos, take a look at some of the videos that I got, and let you guys know what I think of this whole experience. Okay, so we're back at the office. You've already seen most of the videos and photos. I just had a chance to take a look at it, and there are some really interesting things going on there. So let's do a quick roundup of my first impressions, having shot with this camera now just for a couple of hours. And first and foremost, just a quick disclaimer that this is by no means a comprehensive look at what this camera is capable of. This is really like, if you are considering switching over, this is what you can expect from your first couple of hours shooting on this camera. Overall, I would say that the experience experience shooting with this camera was really good. As a Sony shooter, I've been hearing people complain about the Sony menu systems for so long, but guess what? The menu system is just as confusing as any of those other systems. But there's a catch there. The thing that Canon has done really well with this is that you rarely need to go into the menus. There are a lot of things on screen, the touch screen works really well, and they've got a ton of customizable buttons. So most of the functions that I needed were right there at my fingertips. Now, once you get a Sony or a Fuji set up properly, you can kind of achieve this same thing, but it did feel particularly simple with the Canon. Now, one of the things that I was really interested in was the autofocus system, because people are always ranting and raving about the dual pixel autofocus. Right off the bat, one of the things that I was really impressed with was the face tracking when I had the mask and the helmet on. This is something that I know my Sonys don't do. I've tried, it doesn't work. That being said, I did notice that there was a lot of kind of focus hunting going on throughout all of the clips. So even though it was showing a box around my face, it seemed to be a little bit confused about what it wanted to focus on. Now, some of this might be able to be remedied by changing some of the settings, some of the speed or the tracking settings inside the camera. But on the default settings, I did notice that it was getting a little bit confused here and there what it wanted to focus on. And this wasn't just on the face tracking either. I left the focusing up to autofocus on purpose because I wanted to be able to compare to my experiences with the Sony. Like I mentioned when I first pulled it out of the bag, I love the ergonomics of this thing, and that extends to the touchscreen as well. Such a fantastic experience using such a nice touchscreen. That being said, when I loaded all these files into my computer and I tried to play them back, oh boy, did my fan go crazy on my computer. Even when I would set my timeline to quarter resolution, I still couldn't scrub through, I couldn't play really easily, everything was happening delayed by a couple of seconds. These files are a huge pain in the ass. If I was gonna deal with these files on a regular basis, I would definitely be making proxies or switching them over to a ProRes file or something along those lines, because the editing experience with this was absolutely horrific. As far as photos go, I had no problem with it whatsoever. I think the photos look really great. They came out a lot brighter than I expected them to. Let me know if this is a thing that you've noticed if you're someone who switches between Sony and Canon. When I shoot on Sony, things show up either equal to what I was expecting or a little darker than what I was expecting. When I shot all these on the Canon and I pulled them into Lightroom, everything was brighter than I expected. I ended up having to pull everything back down. It was kind of strange. And as far as the internal time-lapse function, it's kind of cool. You can do it a couple of different ways. You can either use the internal intervalometer and just have a bunch of photos, or you can actually have it stitch together a video file for you, and that's the way that I chose to go. The only thing is that I wish I could have done it with C-Log so that I could then grade it a little bit more afterwards. Overall, I really liked my experience using the camera. The actual use of it and the way that it feels in my hands and the touch screen and all those kinds of things, it was a good experience. Dealing with these files in the editing process is not going to be easy, but both 4K 24 and 4K 60 look really good, and I love how easy it is to switch between different video shooting modes. All right, so that's kind of my initial experience with the EOS R6. I'd love to do a bit more of a deeper dive into more of Canon's cameras and lenses and that kind of stuff. If that's something you're interested in, make sure to let me know down below by hitting that like button. And if you have experience with switching between camera brands, leave a comment down below and let me know what your experience is. And on your way down there, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button, hit the bell notification so you don't miss out on future reviews and tutorials. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.